solicitor.
Mr. Kennedy, I want to make sure that we're clear on what your suggestions are for recommendations that we consider at the commission level, which is to say what system changes we might recommend. And I think I heard you say that you believe that complaints to the Judicial Review Council ought to be public, in addition to whatever the Judicial Review Council does with those. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
If a complaint is filed, some are invalid, but just like the Better Business Bureau, you can see who filed the complaint against which business. You can only see what the complaint was against the judge. If somebody who took that initiative to file a complaint was very upset or had a reason to, they should at least review it for your own sake and make your own judgments on it. Why hide it? I mean, if it's ridiculous, it's ridiculous. If it's not, or has some merit, it should be investigated.
And I think I heard, but correct me if I'm wrong, a second recommendation that you made was that there be assistance given to people in how to properly frame a complaint or give an affidavit. Could you explain that, please?
Right, you do have to access the Connecticut General Statutes. 51I, I think, is one of them. And it takes a certain amount of understanding of the law to understand what is an appealable issue and what is a abuse of discretion by a judge. And I think the majority of these complaints are kicked out because they are not phrased correctly, or they're written out of just emotional frustration, but yet they still have some valid issues there. If anything, it should reflect back to the judge how they could improve their behavior. Not that they're, outright abusing someone, but it would be nice to have some feedback or some understanding so that a judge could improve the way he administers justice.
And so apart from those 2 points, were there any system recommendations? I heard a number of complaints with regard to the conduct of particular people, but in terms of system changes, were there any others that you have at this point?
I mentioned the American with Disabilities Act. The judicial branch really isn't in compliance with it. There's no provisions. I myself have attention deficit disorder, and one of the reasons is a communication disorder associated in a courtroom under a lot of pressure. It's very difficult. And one of the reasons my children were taken away with the initial judge was based on a communication issue, is how we phrased it. So ADA, and also, I didn't mention this, but desperately, some training is necessary. I mean, judges go from an attorney overnight to being a judge. I'm not sure what they go through, but they either dealing with cases of sexual abuse or family matters or criminal cases, and I think that's a great deal of responsibility to put on somebody, overnight or within a short period of time. I'm not sure what training they go through. Thank you.
Any other questions of Mr. Kennedy? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for the question.
The third person who has requested to speak is Ms. Maura Casey.